Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here. We're here for another review, Jive. So today, we watched the Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich docuseries on Netflix. It's 4 parts. They're about 56, 55 minutes each, something around there.
About 4 hours.
So it's just about 4 hours worth of content. And this covers everything from the first accusations that were made to the police up until his death.
Up until his death, yeah.
Right? Up until his death. And this is... Let me tell you what, man. We're like, oh, we want to put something on. We like watching like docuseries and stuff like that. We were both playing video games. And so we're like, all right, we'll put this on. And it's just like all day, my just fucking rage and hate level just slowly grew.
It was...
Listening to these ladies just... at every turn be like full blood betrayed by the system.
Yeah.
And this piece of shit Jeffrey Epstein.
And to get to see how people like him, and people like him,
just fucking get away with shit.
Just get away with whatever they want just because they have money. And it is sickening to watch. Especially with the events happening now.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching in the future, this is happening during plague time. And there's a lot of civil unrest happening as well, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement. And it was just...
Yeah, this was pretty crazy. I'm going to read the little descriptor here. It's stories from survivors fuel an examination of how convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein used his wealth and power to carry out his abuses. And
yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's really dead on. They interviewed a lot of the ladies. They interviewed police officers and lawyers and FBI agents and
people
reporters.
That used to work at his estates.
Yeah, they interviewed like his like electrician and like they interviewed one of his like garden people.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And like so they interviewed a ton of people. If it was like plot relevant and they asked and a person didn't interview or just gave a statement, they put that up on screen, like white text on a black background kind of thing. It was just, this isn't really a review, because you kind of can't review something like this.
Yeah.
I
guess a review. I guess like if
you can, right? Because you can review. This isn't a review of him as a person, or but it's
production quality of.
Yeah, it's a review of the docuseries, and I think that they did a really good job. They move in a very temporal fashion, so they start with the first one. They slowly introduce you to more victims and the lawyers and the cops and all this as they progress through the story over time. And this is super temporally driven. It's a lot like Tiger King.
Yeah, I was going to say the way that
like,
it moves
it
forward
unfolds
through,
things.
It does it like Tiger King, and you really feel like an emotional response to it.
Yeah.
But like with Tiger King, that emotional response was incredulous.
Yeah. Just like, oh, cool, that's insane.
You're just like, I don't understand. This is crazy. But with this, you also feel that, but you feel it in the, not so much the wonder and ridiculosity of it, but like in the darker side of that, in the anger and in the upset side of it.
Yeah.
Really.
And they, this, the docuseries, this is like fucking hyper not kid appropriate or family appropriate,
Yeah, it is not very graphic about the things that happen, but
it's graphic enough that at the beginning of each episode there's a warning that's basically like, listen, we're talking about exactly what you think we're talking about. That's,
most of the people who are interviewed
talk about that.
Don't go into the nitty-gritty details of what happened.
Right,
that's really what I mean.
But some of them do.
They're still talking about sexual assault, and they're still talking about rape.
Yeah, so it is not appropriate for kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I think overall this was a really good docuseries. They even addressed the whole Epstein didn't kill himself thing, and they addressed they put everybody on blast. They show you like footage of the indictments of Jeffrey Epstein's indictments, the recordings of that, which is just fucking insane.
Yeah.
To watch those, and like pretty much anybody that can and will responded and was involved in these cases, they talked to, you know, and just it's really towards the end that during the wrap up where you kind of get this picture of like all these police officers and all these lawyers, and they were just like I don't know how the system is this broken.
Yeah,
I don't know how something this bad
hardest,
happened.
And we don't understand how this could happen. You know,
yeah,
so
and a lot of these ladies are you know, brought up at the end also that they're like there are other people involved in this. We know that there were other people there. We know about, you know, like his, you know, his lawyer or whatever, you know, or whoever. It's like we've got
and
these
the women
witnesses
accompanying,
and, you know, and we got
too.
these people like what the fuck's going on, guys? Like, let's continue to prosecute and work, you know. But it's super informative.
Yeah.
It's really well made.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's definitely not something that you're like, I want to have a lighthearted weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely not
Don't
like a
do
lighthearted
this.
kind of thing.
No, don't do this.
It is.
It's obviously super serious.
And it's very dark.
And it is. It's super fucked up and it's super serious. But for what it is, they did a fantastic job.
They sure did.
You know, and they didn't, and I think that's why they have that. One of the reasons why they have the warning at the beginning of each episode is that they're like they didn't cut corners or try to like hide the truth or whatever. You know, they're just like, this is what happened. These are what these ladies are saying. Like, this is whatever. You know, at one point in time, they're interviewing one of these guys, and he's like, you know, this is just really bullshit. Pardon my French. You know, and you're like, oh man, like, you know what show you're on, dude. It's cool.
Yeah, you know what's happening. This is Netflix.
You know,
come on.
But no, I mean, you know what? It was a really good docuseries, and I'm actually really glad that it was made. I think that it was real informative, and they did a good job. You know, I do recommend if you can stomach it.
Absolutely recommend, especially because I hope that this really helps to keep the investigation alive.
Yeah, for all the other people involved.
Of all of the other people involved. There were some things that recently were leaked online, but it seems like for a long time there really hasn't been anything, and it's difficult because I feel without a shadow of a doubt that these people were there. And I would love to see people that do this to anyone, and sex trafficking,
be held accountable.
and all of this, to be held accountable for their actions. And I hope that this documentary does that, and especially in similar to the way that Tiger King, you know, had investigations looking back into Carole Baskin, and seeing what to happen with Joe Exotic's Zoo. You know, so I hope that these people get what's coming to them, because I hope this sparks people looking into it again.
Sparks up the investigation again. Yeah,
sparks up the investigation.
And like holds people accountable for their inactions. I mean, you know, like district attorney for or excuse me, not the district, the attorney general for Florida. Bloody what's his name? Yeah. You know, like where's his accountability for basically like playing a massive role in a government conspiracy to cover up the sex trade? Like, it's insane that that's even real life. That sounds like shitty
something
80s
out of a
action
movie. Yeah. Or out of like a book or a TV
it's
show.
It's fucking absurd, you know.
But I mean,
this
happening.
You know, I hope that this, you know, sheds some light and drives some people to try to like, you know, to reopen these investigations and look into these other people. And, you know, I mean, and the show wasn't all doom and gloom, is probably the best way to put it, because I mean there were parts of the show where, I mean, they were talking, you know, where the ladies were talking about their successes in their lives, or some of the investigators were talking about some of the more like absurd things in it, you know. I mean, there's an interview portion in the show where the investigators like basically he was like, listen man, he's like, I had them prepare like a psych evaluation about Epstein, like based on public knowledge and shit. So we can get under his fucking skin. Like I wanted to make this guy like crawl, you know, because he's hiding behind his money and his power or whatever, and they're in the interview, you know, and the indictment. You know, and Epstein's lawyer, every time somebody says anything, Epstein's lawyer is just like, it's, I moved to remove that question, or that's or he's leading the witness, or and
every
whatever.
time they ask him a question, he pleads the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, he's like, my lawyer's been recommended.
Did you do this thing? And he says, I plead the Fifth Amendment.
My lawyer recommended
like,
that
are you kidding?
Whatever. There's one scene where the guy's talking to him, and he's just like, he's reading a comment or like an interview or something from one of the ladies where he's like, Mr. Epstein, it says here so and so said in the interview, can you confirm, would you confirm or deny that you have an egg-shaped penis? And Epstein's just like, my lawyer said, and of course the lawyer, you can hear him off camera, is getting like pissed, like that's battery of the and that whatever, like they're trying to get him, and the guy's just like, I'm just asking you this question. And then it jumps back to the guy, and he's just like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I was just trying to get under his fucking skin. But he needed to be held accountable for this shit. And if this was what was going to take, like, this is what it was going to take or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were, it's mildly levity because of the whole thing. And he asked the question, like, 5 times. Man, let me tell you what.
Oh, yeah.
He was real pushy about that. Egg-shaped penis. But, it's that thing where it's like, and listening to some of these guys where they're just like, it wasn't until this became public news that I knew any of this shit was fucking happening. Mm-hmm. And shit like that, or, what some of the information that the girls gave and stuff like that. So it was kind of nice to not just be like news. It really had a little bit of personal stories from all the girls, as well as from the lawyers and from the police officers and the investigators and the attorneys and all this. They were like they all had their own opinion, and all of their opinions were stated. Yeah. Like it really felt like they were free to just be like, listen, like this is what I did, this is what happened. You, me, Finn's posting 80 million people that are gonna watch this. Yeah. Fuck this guy or whatever, which was really cool. But I mean, you know what? Overall, I really recommend this. If you want like a good, in-depth fucking docuseries, especially about the Epstein case, which like I knew about the Epstein case, but I didn't know this amount of detail. I certainly didn't know that it had taken so long for all of this stuff to happen, and some of the like smaller details, about his initial jail sentence, and the way that he served it. It's literally insane that what's his name, fucking Acosta, didn't just immediately get like disbarred and thrown out from ever being able to do that again. Like it's nuts, absolutely fucking nuts. Some of the stuff that happens in here, and you hear it, and you're just like, who are these fucking people? What the fuck is happening right now? Yeah. Like, it's crazy town. But, so, yeah. I recommend you watch it. Go watch it.
Watch it. Honestly, guys, make it go viral.
Yeah, make it big. Make it
go viral.
Let us know what you thought about it. Maybe you had a different opinion about it. Like this video, comment below.
Share, subscribe.
Do all that stuff. Tell us what you think, and if you have other like docuseries or documentaries or anything like that you want us to watch, I really enjoy watching documentaries and stuff. So, let us know, and we'll watch those. I love learning because I'm a fucking nerd. But either way, I've been the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norcrove. This was Wife. This was Review Jive. This was Jeffrey Epstein. That guy's a fucking piece of shit. And
next time we'll be back with something a little more lighthearted.
Yeah. We're probably going to do a comedies. We're going to watch some comedy.
Watch some comedy.
Yeah, we're going to watch some comedy. All right.
Bye.